In this video, we are going to talk about transformations of functions. So let's look at our first example. In our first example, we have f of x is equal to x to the third power minus 1. Now we're going to transform this function. The function g is shifted 3 units up and 2 units to the left of f. So they want us to write the rule for g. So if I'm thinking about what g would equal in comparison to f, that means I shifted up 3, so shifting up 3 goes on the outside. 2 units to the left would mean x plus 2. So how does this compare to f now? Well, if f of x is x cubed minus 1, that means g of x would equal x plus 2 cubed minus 1 plus 3. Because what I did was I substituted an x plus 2 in for x into f. Now if I were going to simplify this, g of x would equal x plus 2 cubed plus 2. And we can leave it like this. We don't need to simplify it anymore. All right, similarly, we have the function h of x. And we stretch it vertically by a factor of 1.5. And it's going to be reflected over the x-axis. So what's my rule for k now? So k, well, stretch vertically means I'm multiplying h by 1.5, because a vertical stretch would always go in front of the function, multiplied by the function. And because of the reflection, it's actually going to be a negative 1.5, because a negative in front reflects over the x-axis. So what this will look like is that means k of x will equal negative 1.5 times the h function, which is the absolute value of x minus 3 plus 5. Now I'm going to distribute this 1.5 in. Keeping in mind, I can't actually distribute the negative 1.5 into the absolute value, so I was left with negative 1.5 times the absolute value of x minus 3. But I can do 1.5 times 5, and that'll give me negative 7.5. And so this is what my k function will look like, transformed. In question 3, it says g of x is a transformation of f of x. Describe the transformations from f to g. So I can see some similarities. So I'm going to highlight those in green. I can see my 3. I can see my negative 2. So what that tells me is that my x got transformed into x minus 1, meaning I got shifted right 1. I can also see my plus 7 became a plus 10. So that means I would have had to add 3 to get to plus 10. So that means I shifted up 3. Let's look at this second one. G is transformation of f. So at first, this looks really difficult, but actually if we look at our denominator of g, that kind of gives me a hint of what happened with the x. So I see my x became x plus 1, so I can already see that that means I went left 1. So let's see what happened to the top then, because what that means is I took x plus 1 and I plugged it in for both x's. And I simplified it and somehow got to this. So first I would get 2x plus 2, and I want it to be negative x minus 1. So it looks like I would have to multiply this by a negative 1/2 in order to become negative x minus 1. So not only do I have left 1, but I had to multiply it by 1/2, so that is a vertical, well in this case a shrink of 1/2. And since I multiplied it by negative 1/2, that means I also have a reflection over the x-axis. All right, in question 5, it says point 1, negative 2 is on the graph of f of x. Now we're going to perform some transformations, and they want us to know where the point would land on the graph g of x. So let's talk about what these numbers are telling us. This 2 in front is a vertical stretch by 2. This plus 3 means up 3. So if my point is 1, negative 2, if I have a vertical stretch by 2, that means it would become 1, negative 4, because I'm going to do 1 and then negative 2 times 2. Then if I'm shifting it up 3, I'm going to add 3, so my final point would be 1, negative 1. For this next one, the plus 1 on the inside means I'm shifting left 1, down 3. So if my original point is 1, negative 2, left 1 would mean minus 1, down 3 would mean minus 3 for the y. So I end up at 0, negative 5. This inside number here is actually a horizontal shrink by a half. So the inside's always the opposite. And this negative out in front is a reflection over the x-axis. So if my point is 1, negative 2, horizontally I'm shrinking this by a half, meaning I'm multiplying it by a half. I'm also reflecting it over the x-axis. So if I think about where my point is, it'd be at 1, negative 2. So if I'm reflecting it over, it's going to end up at 1, positive 2. So we're reflecting that negative, so it ended up at 1/2, positive 2. All right, this last one we have a reflection again. We have over the x-axis. We have a right 1 shift and up 3 shift. So my original point was 1, negative 2. If I'm shifting it right 1, that means I'd add 1. Up 3 means I'd add 3. So that means I'd be at 2. Well, I want to do the reflection first, so I take that back. So if I just add the 1, I'd be at 2, negative 2. Then when I reflect it, I'd be at 2, positive 2. Then I would shift it up 3, so 2, 5. You could have also reflected it first, so it'd been 1, 2, then do the right 1, up 3. So I'd be at 2, 5. You want to make sure you do the reflection though. So on this page, we have a function that is already graphed and we want to shift it based on this transformation. So this first one means I'm going to go left 4, up 3. So essentially I want to take each of these points and shift them left 4, up 3. Left 4, up 3. Left 4, 3. So I'm taking each of these points and shifting them left 4, up 3. And then connecting them to show my shifted function. So number 7, the negative in front is a reflection over the x-axis. The 2 is a horizontal shrink of a half. So first, let's cut all of our x's in half. So instead of negative 4, it'll be negative 2. This one's on the axis, so it won't reflect. This one is 4, so that's a y value. The x value is 0, so it'll just reflect. This one is 1, so it'll become 1/2 and reflect. Oh, 1/2 this way in terms of x, not y. This point here is 4, so it'll be 2, and then reflect to negative 3. And this point is 6, so it becomes half, so it becomes 3, and then reflects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my shape will look like this. Right, number 8 has a vertical stretch of 2. and this is a reflection over the y-axis. So, we'll start with this point here at -4. If I'm reflecting it over the y-axis, it'll go to +4. Then the y is 0 though, so it'll stay here, because 0 times 2 is 0. This point has a x value of 0. So if I reflect it over the y-axis, it's actually going to stay in the same place, but it has a y value of 4, so if I multiply it by 2, it'll end up here at 8. This point here has an x value of 1, so it'll be reflected over the y-axis, but then multiplied by 2, so it'll end up right here. This point here is at 4, so reflected will go to -4, and then multiply it by 2, so it'll go to 6. So we're at 6, reflect to -6, multiply by 2, so it would go down to -10. So my graph will look something like this. All right, this last one is shifted up 4, and it's also reflected over the x-axis again. So we're going to reflect, then move. So if I look at this -4, well, that is on the axes, so it's not going to reflect anywhere, but it will shift up 4. So we'll shift it up to there. So if I reflect this guy, he'll reflect to -4, but then I'm going to shift him up 4, so he'll end up at 0. This point reflected will be here, then shifted up 4 will end up here. 4, 3 reflected will be 4, -3, but then shifted up 4 will end up at 4, 1. This point here, 6, -5, reflected will be at 6, 5, then shifted up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 will put me at 6, 9. So my graph will look something like this. All right, we have 2 more. So number 10 looks really similar to number 9, but the big difference is we need to follow order of operations here. So I need to move the function up 4. Then I am going to reflect it over the x-axis. And actually what this is going to look a lot like is actually going down 4 and then reflecting. Or I mean reflecting, then going down 4. But, so if I look at this first point, I'm going to go up 4, and then reflect it, so that point will end up right here. For this point, I'm going to go up 4, then reflect it, so it'll end up right here. This point, I'm going to go up 4, then reflect it. This point, 2, 3, 4, up 4, and then reflect it, so I'll end up down here at -7. And then this point, up 4, and then reflect it, so it'll end up right here. So the shape will look something like this. All right, this last one, we have a vertical stretch of 2. I'm going to go right 1 and down 3. So we have to be really careful about our order. I'm going to go right 1, Then do my vertical stretch of 2, meaning I'm going to times by 2, my y by 2. Then my last step is to go down 3. So for this point, I'm going to move it right 1. Then I'd multiply the y by 2. Well, the y is 0, so it's not going to move. And then I go down 3. So this point will end up right here. This point, I'm going to move it right 1. Multiply the y by 2. Well, the y is 4, so multiply by 2 will put me back at 8. But then I have to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. So my final point will be right here. This point is at 1, 1. So right 1 times 2 would put me up at 1 times 2 is 2. And then down 3. 1, 2, 3 will put me right here. This point is at 4, so right 1 would put me at 5. The y value is 3, so times 2 would put me at 6. But then down 3 will put me back at 5, 3. Then this last point is at 6, so I'll move it over to 7 for right 1. Times that by 2 puts me at negative 10. And then I actually go down 3 more from there, so I'll end up at negative 13. So my shape will look something like this.